out this man meat right here.
Oh, no, not the
Man meat.
Welcome back to another strange and mysterious podcast. Of course, I'm one of your hosts, G. Introduce yourself, fellas.
Defy 999 here.
Like the haircut, by the way.
That's kind of fly, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Bringing sexy back.
And last but not least,
Vice.
What up?
What's going on?
Nice. Welcome back. I know it's been a while for us, but we've all had, life things going on, but we're back. So we're here to talk about a crazy subject. Are y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Uh-huh.
All right,
Just tell me this. Are we in store for some violence?
I don't know about violence, but these are photos from a spontaneous human combustion cases. So either it was the hot chili that they ate in New Mexico, or they had some fucked up shit going on in their gut.
Yeah.
So what do y'all think causes that?
I don't know, man. It's such a strange phenomenon, It's so hard to say.
Yeah, it's so. If you look at the data on it, it just seems so random and so.
Yeah. It's more paranormal to me, if anything. I don't know.
Yeah, because some of these people did literally erupted in a thing of flame and just disappeared and are gone. Mm-hmm. And if it was a chemical process that had to do with the human body, I just don't see the heat getting so hot that it would incinerate bone. Mm-hmm. There would be leftovers. In these instances, you know what I mean? If it was more of this world, more of a worldly phenomenon, there should be leftovers of the body, parts that didn't burn. Maybe their hands were out and the tips didn't burn. The fact that these motherfuckers are just gone and there's a burn stain, that is either paranormal or possibly alien or possibly interdimensional. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, I don't know. It could be some divine intervention.
Who knows?
Or maybe government experiments.
It could be, man. It could be. It
ray?
Makes you wonder because it's like the evidence is all burnt up, right?
Mm-hmm. Could be a death ray. Yeah.
Maybe there's someone who's done more extensive research on numerous cases, and maybe they found some kind of link between them all that we haven't looked into yet. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who knows?
All right, so let's take a look at some of these cases and see what's up.
Okay.
Callan, and this is Slapped Ham. The following are the most terrifying cases of spontaneous human combustion ever recorded. But as always, before we get into these chilling stories, remember to hit that subscribe button for more awesome, creepy content just like this.
I won't.
Slapped Ham.
The death of 61-year-old Jeannie Saffin in 1982 is one of the most frequently discussed cases of supposed spontaneous human combustion in history. Unlike most of the victims of these mysterious events, Jeannie was not alone when her body burst into flames. Jeannie was born with significant disabilities, so she spent her entire life living in her parents' home. On September 15, 1982, she was in the kitchen of her parents' home with her father and brother-in-law.
Drinking some sweet tea.
The two men weren't paying much attention to Jeannie until they saw a bright light out the corner of their eyes. They turned to Jeannie and saw that she was inexplicably on fire. They quickly began dousing Jeannie with water to put out the flames and called for an ambulance. She was treated for severe burns for a total of 8 days until she died from her injuries. The cause of death was listed as bronchopneumonia due to burns. An inquest was held into the circumstances surrounding Jeannie's death. At the inquest, Jeannie's family asserted that they believed it to be a case of spontaneous human combustion. According to Jeannie's father, he had witnessed flames shooting out of her mouth that made a terrifying
What the hell?
noise. He said that the image brought to mind a dragon breathing fire. Jeannie's family also claimed that the clothing Jeannie had been wearing was untouched by the fire. However, later research proved that this was untrue. The coroner at the inquest rebuffed the family's claims, insisting that humans can't spontaneously catch fire. Researchers later put forth the theory that the fire had been caused by the pilot light from the family's kitchen stove. Anecdotal evidence suggests that there were windows open in the kitchen that could have caused a cross breeze that could have blown the flame towards Jeannie and set her alight. Many are skeptical of the more mundane explanations for the fire that tragically ended Jeannie's life. Those who believe she combusted point to her father's testimony of flames coming from her mouth as evidence that the source of the fire was Jeannie's body itself.
Jeannie looked drunk right there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what do y'all think? Like, especially with the flames coming out of her mouth? Like, I mean, I don't see a fire doing that to somebody, you know what I mean, coming out of the mouth.
Yeah, unless...
go on. Sorry, mate.
I was going to say, unless she was drinking vodka, she was drinking a high alcohol proof liquor. Something was there, no one was paying attention, and she had a mouthful of liquor or something. And Jeannie got noticed, unfortunately.
Hey, what happened to Jeannie?
She's so weird, man. For you to burn from the inside out, man. Like,
yeah,
dude. Like, I mean, yeah, I can understand if your body was saturated on the inside with just pure oxygen, and then you lit up a cigarette or some shit or whatever. But I don't know, man. That's the thing with spontaneous human combustion that's just so intriguing. Like, how does that happen?
Yep.
Well, I think
gases, and her body stuck around. So this is a different. It's different when they just are gone.
Well, what I think is interesting is, you know, that statement that the father said that he could see the flames coming out of her mouth.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's a very important distinction. The flames weren't on her per se.
No.
They were coming out of her body. Right. And I think that's what makes it like just weird as hell. The hell would cause flames to come up through the mouth?
You'd have to have gas in your lungs, some kind of flammable gas. If it was going to be explained by normal stuff. It is definitely an odd one. I'm just playing around with the Jeannie was drunk thing, but I don't know. This is different. These types might be explained by natural phenomena that we just don't know. It's the what, like I said, it's the ones I'm really interested in, are the ones where they're just gone, no trace, and a burn scar.
She have dragon DNA or something? I don't know.
She could have. Yeah.
House of the Dragon.
I mean,
Possible.
I'm sorry. We're all laughing. That's a horrible way to go. That's bad.
Not all victims of spontaneous human combustion have
Robert
family
Francis
members to bear
Bailey.
witness to their passings. In the case of Robert Francis Bailey, he was alone in an abandoned building when his body caught fire.
This was on number 2, or
it's believed
they're
he was
going
seeking
down.
shelter from the cold inside the building where he died on September 13, 1967. A person walking by called the fire department when they saw a bright light coming from inside the building. Within 5 minutes, a fire crew was on the scene. They found Robert on the floor, curled up as if he had pain in his stomach. The fireman reported that he had a slit in his stomach measuring about 4 inches, from which the flames seemed to be coming. They later described the flames as blue and looking like the flames from a blowtorch.
What the fuck?
Holy fuck,
That's weird.
Arrived. They reported that he was writhing in pain and appeared to be biting into a stair post. The crew later had to pry his jaw open around the post to remove his body from the scene, after emptying several fire extinguishers to put out the flames. There were other odd aspects to the case. Nothing else in the room other than Robert's body was on fire. After putting it out, the fire crew found little fire damage in the room or on Robert's clothing.
That's weird.
Only the part of his shirt covering his stomach and a bit of the floor below his body were charred. They noted that there were several highly flammable substances in the room, but none of them had caught fire. A later inquest hypothesized that the fire had been caused by Robert dropping a cigarette onto his shirt. However, the lack of surrounding damage and the speed at which the flames seem to have grown make the theory unlikely. Additionally, skeptics note that a fire caused by a dropped cigarette wouldn't be bright enough to attract attention from outside.
No. Mm-mm.
You know, and another thing I think for this case, he had a slit on his stomach where blue flames were coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell?
That's
That's hot.
supernatural.
Yeah.
That
If
don't
the
make no
flame's
sense.
blue, dude, that's like a
Yeah.
torch.
Well,
That's more of a supernatural thing, man. Or some kind of hidden weapon or some kind of thing that we don't know anything about.
yeah, like a blue flame. Like that don't make any sense, right?
The only
What
thing is weird
chemicals?
is, yeah.
Yeah, what
Blue
chemicals
flame.
could cause something like that?
Well,
I don't
natural
know, man.
gas isn't natural gas burned blue?
I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
A natural
And it's all
gas.
about it's about the temperature that the fire's burning at, you know. That'll dictate the color of the
Color.
flame. So it's pretty hot, bro.
Yeah, to be blue, it's
Yeah, that's the color of a torch, you know. That's what we use to like heat up bearings and stuff at work, you know.
mm,
Yeah, that's horrible, man. You know.
So they say here that a blue light violet color could be caused by copper chloride and butane, and
beautiful.
also potassium chloride.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah. That's
That's
what I'm saying.
strange.
There's a possibility that there is some kind of weird chemical reaction or some kind of bioweapon. However, I think this has been going on for a long time. It's not a new phenomenon, you know?
Yeah. I think I had read somewhere that people in the Middle Ages had talked about this shit happening.
Exactly. You know, so
Let's see what the oldest
Yeah, it's not a new thing.
for
it isn't.
human.
Just got explained away in the Middle Ages as, God's justice or some bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what the oldest is.
Who knows?
Middle
But
Ages, at least, I think.
Yeah, I agree with Define there. I've heard of some old cases, really old cases.
So this one says the first mention of a spontaneous human combustion in the history books is in Paulinus Vorstrius. Paulinus was just a regular Italian knight in the late 1400s who was linked to wine, women, and song.
The devil got him.
Right?
No, but I had known that from the Middle Ages we knew this phenomenon. This could be some weird interdimensional capping out. The other interesting thing is if you think about time travel, what if, and I think we've talked about this before, you guys, but with these spontaneous combustions, what if they were people from a future time coming back and eliminating a line that is going to go on to create some calamity and they just burn it out? It's like,
Damn, that's a horrible way to do that.
Oh, I know.
it's like it goes back into time.
It's like, can you just like suffocate him or something, man? Because fuck, dude.
Well, maybe that power is
Damn,
so
man.
that power is so hot it has to.
Yeah.
And you're not even killing the person; you're killing like a descendant. So you're trying to stop off little points in where people then go out. I don't know.
Hey,
That's
go
tough.
back in time and be like,
That's brutal, right? That's a brutal assassination.
Dude, I know,
that's
man.
hilarious.
Oh,
Okay, let's go.
let's continue.
On July 2nd, 1951, 67-year-old Mary Reese
Mary Reese
became an
looks
alleged
like a
victim of spontaneous
librarian.
human combustion.
A nice
Like many
one,
of the
too.
victims of this terrifying phenomenon, Mary was alone at the time that her body apparently burst into flames. Mary lived alone in an apartment. On the day that Mary died, her landlady knocked on Mary's door to deliver a telegram that had arrived for her. When no one answered, she tried the doorknob. The knob seemed strangely hot to her, so she called the police. The police arrived and discovered that whatever fire had occurred in the apartment was already out. They found Mary's remains on a chair. Her body had mostly been reduced to ash. All that remained was her slippered foot, her spine, and her skull.
Damn.
The skull was one of the most unusual aspects of the case. According to investigators, it had shrunk to the size of a teacup. They confirmed that the skull had shrunken too much for the burning of her facial features to be the cause.
That's crazy.
Investigators also noted that there was very little damage to the room. A few plastic objects had melted just enough to morph their shapes, but nothing else appeared to be damaged. They didn't even find much smoke damage in the room. This is a perplexing detail as it requires temperatures of at least 1600 degrees Fahrenheit or 870 degrees Celsius to reduce a body to ash. At an inquest, an FBI investigator speculated that because Mary was known to use sleeping pills, it was plausible she had fallen asleep while smoking. However, other investigators disputed this claim, asserting that it would be impossible for a fire caused by a cigarette to reach temperatures high enough to fully cremate a human body.
And to shrink its skull.
Yeah.
That's strange.
That's some time travel fucking hitman shit right there, man.
Yeah, like,
man.
I mean, to burn the body, to that, and then not burn anything else, that doesn't make any sense at all.
That makes sense, because it'd have to be a furnace, dude. Those crematoriums get, I forget how hot they get, but they get pretty damn hot. They're almost like the glory holes in glass studios. They're just baking hot. And for it not to damage anything else, and the skull shrunken. What did they say? Half its size.
Mm-hmm.
Half its size is
I'm
a lot,
also-
guys. Think about.
I'm also
that. Half
curious
its
who
size.
these people are, man. Like, what do they do for a living and what's their background? Because, we got to figure this shit out.
I know Mary
Like,
looked like
I don't know
like
about
a
that.
librarian. Rest in peace, Mary, by the way.
Rest in peace, but I
You're
sure
a
hope
real
you were
nice
like in the
librarian.
CIA or some shit. Because,
Yeah, that's. See, when you start getting into wounds like this, though, because think about this. How long ago did this happen to Mary? Was it the 60s?
Something like that.
Maybe I could think of damage like that happening from some orbital satellite thing nowadays. Laser technology, rays of some sort, microwave technology. But for the 60s to do that kind of damage, I don't think that's secret. I think that's supernatural, paranormal, or even time bending, just totally out there.
Well, we know one thing for sure. It's paranormal because a normal fire would burn everything.
Yeah.
This fire isn't burning just but the
How's
human
it stay
body.
so contained?
yeah, these fires are specific to that human. So it's starting inside of their body somehow.
Targeted, it seems like,
Yeah.
right?
Targeted. Because that's the other thing,
Yeah.
actually. If it was a laser or a microwave emitter or something that's in orbital space, stuff that's on top, there should be a hole in the ceiling or some kind of damage to the ceiling too.
You
So
see that external
the fact that the
damage.
shit starts inside and then moves out, maybe the reasons a lot of stuff outside isn't damaged is because it happens so fast. It's not like, it's they go from 0 to like, freaking furnace level heat almost instantly, and then it stops.
You know what? That's what's also interesting about this phenomenon. So, like, these fires are hot enough to cremate the bodies on the spot, all this crap, but the fire is going out. It's like after it kills them.
Yeah, it doesn't continue burning in the floor.
It doesn't.
If there, maybe there's a burn mark, but
And these are some of the hottest burning fires that we know of, and they're not spreading and burning down the whole damn. They're not even like catching the couch on fire. Like, how is that even happening? You know?
Yeah, it's very, very unexplainable.
On March 26, 1986, Kendall Mott, the son of retired fireman George Mott, began to worry that his father hadn't been answering his
The
repeated
applesauce,
phone
that was
calls.
delicious.
Yeah.
According to testimony from his family and friends, George was depressed and suffered from lung problems that required him to use an oxygen tank in order to breathe.
Oh no!
This kept him
Oxygen
at home
and
most
fire?
of the time.
No bueno.
When Kendall
also like to
arrived at
smoke.
his father's home, he noticed that all of the house's windows appeared brown. On the inside of the house, the air appeared smoky and smelled like something had been burned. George had formerly been a smoker but quit because of his lung problems, so the smell was certainly unexpected. Then Kendall found his father, or what remained of him. All that was left was a pile of ashes and a few pieces of bone. Authorities noted
God
that the
damn.
damage was similar to what would happen to a body had it been professionally cremated.
Damn.
More perplexing were the inconsistencies in the room. A nearby television had melted, but the bedding on which George's body had been incinerated was largely untouched. There was also a book of matches on the bedside table that hadn't ignited. Investigators also noted that George's oxygen tank was still running and hadn't been damaged, nor had the
What?
face mask. How had George's entire body been turned to ash, but the mask that he must have been wearing in order to breathe was untouched? The official theory was that George had decided to light a cigarette to help cope with his depression and removed his mask in the process. However, this doesn't explain how the fire had been hot enough to cremate George's body, yet hadn't damaged his bedding. Many believe
that makes no sense at all.
Combustion. The case of George Mott will remain in a niche group of alleged supernatural deaths that authorities may never be able to explain.
I think this is like one of the first cases, right, where something else had burned along with the victim, like the TV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The TV bad. That TV was, you could tell that TV had been exposed to enough heat that it's basic. The tube was still basically there, but all of its shell had just melted down around it. So this actually looks like possibly a weapon, right? Because if you're shooting it towards the person, that fire that hits it is going to take a very, intense but small kind of radial out to the person, and maybe he got hit by it, the weapon, and it went right through the TV and through there. I mean, but even still, this was a long time ago. That technology shouldn't exist.
So what you're saying is it's aliens.
Yeah, or time travelers. Like I said, I mean, it could be time travelers, aliens, interdimensional beings that maybe they just get their kicks frying people. They're like, you know what? They're cruising around, they're having a few beers, and they're like, dude, I know we're not supposed to, but let's go to that one time where that one planet, and let's just you know what I mean? Like, because it reminds me of like cows. Cows are just hanging out, and
cow tipper.
A human can go in there and tip a cow and shock it. Why do people do things?
Let's go smoke some humans.
Dude, I'm fucked up. Let's go smoke some of those.
I mean, it could be a weapon because I think TVs emit certain frequencies.
Yeah.
I don't know what exact frequency they emit, but
and it might
kind of plays into the microwave theory, the microwave weapon theory,
It kind of goes into that, what is it, that Havana syndrome that's been happening to people?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where they've been getting sick and all kinds of issues, right? And they can't figure out what's going on.
And they stay sick. That's the freaky part.
Mm-hmm.
They're at the embassy. They're at the embassy there, and then they return back to the United States, and they're still not able to do certain things. Like their judgment's all off. Like their sense of depth. Something happened to their brains. They're just not exactly sure what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. This is strange.
Yeah, this is a crazy case.
Let's continue.
Before we get to that number one spot and take a look at a truly curious case of alleged spontaneous human combustion, remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on channel notifications. That way you'll be completely up to date with all our latest content.
Advice isn't a bad.
That.
I said good day, sir.
Good evening.
Dr. John Bentley was a 92-year-old scientist when he became an alleged victim of spontaneous human combustion. On the morning of December,
we have a scientist.
A meter reader entered Dr. Bentley's home, having standing permission to enter unannounced due to the scientist's advanced age. He went into the basement to check the meters, where he noted a blue smoke that he described as sweet-smelling. He then saw a large pile of ashes on the floor. The floor beneath had no evidence of burns, but there was a large square hole in the ceiling above. He went upstairs to investigate. Upstairs, after passing through a smoky bedroom, the man found the remains of Dr. Bentley in the bathroom. All that he found was a pile of ashes and the lower half of the scientist's right leg, the foot still clad in a slipper. He quickly called for help, panicked at the sight, but clearly Dr. Bentley was beyond saving. There were numerous
Yeah.
theories about the death.
His leg. There's no saving him.
Like, bro, he's
When
gone.
the pipe was found
Hey, what
unlit,
were they gonna say? Hey, it's Joe. 1,
Pause
2,
it.
3.
Hey, pause it.
1,
We
2,
gotta talk
3.
about this. Pause
Mouth
that.
to mouth.
Shit, bro. He
Yeah, what
doesn't
are they-
have a
what are
mouth, sir.
What are they gonna do? Yeah, they're gonna be like, hurry, get here quick. His leg is still there.
We can still save him.
Put it on ice. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and the EMT's like, no, man, we got you. We got you. They grab the leg, just that part of his leg. They're like, we got you. We can save you. Hold on.
Oh, shit.
Talk to me.
Thank God his soul
Bro.
is still intact.
Yeah.
I know, it's like his soul in long gone, motherfucker. Like,
Just his right
holy
lower
shit,
leg.
dude.
He is beyond
Oh,
saving. I promise you, he's beyond saving.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh, man.
Okay,
Let's
hit play
continue.
again. That was a
bedside
fun
table.
little.
Others noted that the man's clothing were found smouldering in the bathtub, leading them to believe that his clothes had caught fire from the matches in the pocket. They asserted that Dr. Bentley had likely awoken to find his clothes on fire, run to the bathroom and remove the robe, but died before being able to put out the fire. However, a fire hot
Yeah.
enough to fully cremate the scientist's body was unlikely to have been started by a random spark to an unlit match.
Yeah, no way.
I don't know.
We might need to look into this guy since he was a scientist and see what kind of work he used to do.
Yeah, the fact he was a scientist, you never know what kind of funky
Yeah.
shit he's working with.
No shit. Who did he work for?
I don't know.
It is a trip.
You know, just the evidence, right? That
Yeah.
we have, you know, and the different kinds of parallels as far as the cases. In one case, there's nothing else that burns except for the person. And then the other one is you have TVs that are on fire, but yet other things are untouched.
But the thing underneath, the
That
thing that
kinda
burned
seems like
was
it's a weapon.
untouched. Yeah.
It seems like it's a weapon, whether somebody is practicing to see what the effects would be, or maybe there's some information that these people hold, you know, or for whatever reason, maybe they're just alien cow tippers.
It could be. They're just
Yeah,
like,
or-
man.
But it's just
Who
strange. I
knows?
don't know.
The evidence is there. The evidence that the phenomenon is real and people aren't making it up. You know what I'd be curious is we do a part 2 where maybe there's more modern, you know, are there modern variations on this?
Mhm.
Because you'd think now with more video technology, you would think now, see, this is my thing. You would think that now in today's modern societies, that if a spontaneous combustion happened, eventually one should be captured on film. Right?
TikTok.
Something in in the amount of cameras and stuff recording constantly, you know, I could spontaneously combust right now. Imagine how freaked out you'd be. And then
Yeah.
Hey, blue flames everywhere.
yeah, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, man. Real crazy. And I mean, maybe we're not dealing with fire as we know it. Like,
Yeah.
this could be something else. If it's not transferring, you know, it's just completely defying the laws of heat transfer. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Because, yeah,
Maybe,
that doesn't
yeah.
make sense. It's hot enough to cremate you, but not hot enough to incinerate a bed sheet.
Yeah, it's weird.
I can incinerate a bed sheet with my Bic lighter, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, so what is this crap, you know?
I mean, I guess it could be universal in the sense it could be something in space the scientists haven't found that does something to a point in time because of gravity or whatnot, where, you know, because you've heard of those super crazy pulsar stars that shoot out a jet of like that can destroy planets light years away. Like maybe there's some phenomenon that's rare, but it's somehow in the universe and it travels through time, or maybe it's
Maybe these
faster
people
than
are
light.
stars.
Yeah, maybe it's faster than light. Who knows?
You know?
And
These guys
some
are
of the-
supernovas.
Maybe you're just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Maybe, man. I don't know.
I like that better than a couple of dudes drunk off their alien high and
Right?
just deciding they're going to come they're going to come burn some humans up. They're like, holy shit, he went up. They
Did you see how he lit up? Holy shit.
That mother
Looked like Christmas.
Yeah. And some other, they're like, oh, dude, let's get two in the same room. Let's try to aim them. You know what I mean? That would make me feel bad. I'd rather it be a random phenomenon.
Right? No, that's interesting. We'll have to definitely do a part 2 to see if there's some more modern cases.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, that's been our episode. We'll catch you on the flip side. Peace. Peace.
Bye.
Peace. We out.
Check out this man meat right here.
Oh, no, not the
Man meat.